My girlfriend said, "I'm withholding affection until you fix yourself." I said, "Then leave." She thought I'd beg for a hug. I quietly packed her closet into bins, changed the door code, and texted her a pickup time. When she finally wrote, "Do you miss me?" I sent one photo, her boxes on the porch. Original post. I'm Evan, 33M in Charlotte, NC. My ex is Marissa, 30F. We dated a little over 3 years and lived in my townhouse the last 10 months. Mortgage and utilities are in my name. Marissa's thing wasn't screaming, it was control. If I didn't agree with her, she'd go cold. No hello, no good night, no touch. Then once I apologized enough, she'd forgive me and be sweet again. Like affection was a prize. One week it was because I asked her to stop posting our arguments on Instagram stories. Another time it was because I didn't sound excited when she told me about a brunch plan she'd already made for both of us. I'd wake up, see her back turned, and spend the whole day trying to earn my way back to normal. Last Thursday I had a late work meeting. I texted her twice, running 30 minutes behind. "Want me to grab dinner?" No reply. I got home and she was on the couch, wide awake, acting like I didn't exist. I asked what was wrong. She looked up and said, "I'm withholding affection until you fix yourself." "You've been so needy lately." Needy. Because I said I'd be late. Then she added, "No hugs, no kisses, no intimacy, not until you prove you deserve me." I just stood there, feeling something in my chest go quiet. Not rage, just clarity. I said, "Okay." She smirked like she'd won. Then I said, "Then leave." She laughed and called me dramatic. She told me she'd stay at her friend Kayla's for a few days and I'd calm down and beg like always. So I didn't beg. I packed. I grabbed 3 storage bins and her rolling suitcase, folded her clothes, bagged her toiletries, gathered the decor she'd moved in without asking. Everything neat, labeled, stacked by the front door. I even found the random little key bowl she put by the entryway like she owned the place. Then I did the boring adult steps, screenshotted the texts, emailed them to myself, pulled up my mortgage statement, changed the keypad code on the front door and the garage, removed her from the smart lock app. I wrote down a quick inventory list so she couldn't claim I stole anything. I also wrote a simple note: "You set the terms, I accepted them. Pick up your things Saturday 10/12. Evan." She didn't come home that night. She texted around 2 a.m., "You better not touch my stuff." I didn't answer. I slept in my bed alone and realized I'd been holding my breath in my own house for months. Update 1: 4 days later, Saturday at 9:41 a.m., my doorbell camera pinged. Marissa was on my porch in full makeup with Kayla and Kayla's boyfriend like it was a support crew. Marissa punched the old keypad code. Red beep. Tried again. Red. Then she noticed the camera and waved like we were fine. I spoke through the doorbell. "Your things are inside. Please take them and go." Her voice went syrupy. "Evan, you can't just lock me out." I said, "You moved out. You said you were done." Kayla leaned into frame and said, "This is illegal." I ignored Kayla. I wasn't breaking up with Kayla. Marissa tried to negotiate. "Can we just talk?" I'm ready to be affectionate again. Like she was handing me back a privilege. That word again did something to me. I said, "No. Take your things." I opened the door with the chain on and slid out a folder, an item list, and a printed screenshot of her message about withholding affection. Not to embarrass her, to stop the rewriting. She stared at it and snapped, "You're really keeping receipts?" I said, "Yes, because this won't turn into a story where I blindsided you." They hauled bins to the curb. Then Marissa accidentally reached for my spare truck key on the hook by the door. I caught it and said, "That's mine." She rolled her eyes. "Petty," I said, "predictable." Outside, she started crying loud enough for the neighbors. Kayla hugged her and glared at my camera like I was the villain. My next-door neighbor stepped out to grab his mail and froze. Marissa immediately got louder, like an audience had arrived. 10 minutes later, Kayla texted from Marissa's phone, "She loves you. You'll regret this." I replied once she made affection conditional. "I'm not negotiating for respect. Please don't contact me again." Blocked. Marissa tried calling from a private number twice. I let it ring out. Then I changed my voicemail greeting to something boring and neutral, just in case. After they left, I changed the Wi-Fi password, called my HOA to remove her gate access, and set up mail forwarding. I also moved my important documents, passport, titles, birth certificate, into my safe. Not because I thought she'd break in, because I stopped underestimating her. No anger, no speeches, just peace. And yes, I scheduled a locksmith backup the same day, just in case. Update 2: about 3 weeks later, I thought it was over. Then she started testing the fence. First, a Venmo request for $612 with a note: groceries, decor, emotional labor. I declined and wrote no. Next, her sister Danielle messaged me, "Marissa is depressed." Like scary depressed. "Please meet her for coffee." I replied, "If you think she's unsafe, call 988 or emergency services. I'm not meeting her. Please stop contacting me." Danielle called my mom anyway. My mom is a retired nurse and she doesn't do manipulation. She listened to Marissa's sobbing voicemail about doing something stupid. Then Marissa immediately added, "Also tell him he owes me money for the couch." Crisis, then invoice. My mom said, "Document everything." So I did. I started a notes app log with dates and times. I saved voicemails. I screenshot every new number. I printed the worst messages and put them behind the original breakup text so the timeline was obvious. A mutual friend, Jordan, texted me, "Just checking. Did you really kick Marissa out with nowhere to go?" I sent Jordan the screenshot of her message about withholding affection and my reply, "Then leave." Jordan wrote back, "Oh, she definitely didn't mention that part." A week later, Marissa showed up at my office building, telling reception she was my partner and it was urgent. I went to the lobby, phone recording audio in my pocket. She stood there with a gift bag like we were reconciling. I said, "You can't be here. Leave." She smiled. 5 minutes, closure. I said, "No, security will escort you." Her smile dropped. "You found someone else." Security walked her out and issued a trespass warning on the spot. They told her if she came back, police would be called. That night, she emailed my work address with the subject line, "HR Incident Report." She claimed I was abusive and CC'd a fake HR-looking Gmail. She attached cropped screenshots of me asking, "Are you coming home?" I forwarded it to our real HR director with the full thread in one sentence: "This is harassment." HR replied, "Noted. Security has her photo." 2 days later, I found a note on my windshield in a grocery store lot: "I'm pregnant." We hadn't slept together in over a month before the breakup because she'd been withholding intimacy as leverage. I had that in writing. I photographed the note, tossed it, and added it to my folder. The next morning, I went to the magistrate with everything: ring clips, texts, unknown numbers, Venmo, the email, the note, and the friend messages. I filed a harassment report and requested a protective order. The officer gave me a case number and told me, "Keep doing exactly what you're doing, don't engage." Around this time, I also started seeing Tessa from my friend group. Easy, adult, calm. No punishment games. When Marissa heard, because someone always tells, she sent 3 more Venmo requests, a closure email to my personal address, and a DM from a fake Instagram account named Peace and Growth. That's when I stopped hoping she'd get it and started letting paperwork do the talking. Final update: about 2 months later, the hearing was a Wednesday morning at Mecklenburg County Courthouse. I walked in with my evidence folder like it was a work meeting. Marissa arrived in a blazer and glasses with a lawyer. Her lawyer said she only wanted closure and felt unsafe because I abandoned her. The judge asked me, "Did you threaten her?" I said, "No, Your Honor." I ended the relationship after she said affection was conditional. Since then, she's shown up at my home, my workplace, contacted my family, and impersonated HR. The judge asked Marissa why she went to my office. Marissa said, "I was worried about him. He's unstable." I slid 1 page across her text: "No hugs, no kisses. Not until you prove you deserve me." I also handed over the ring clips and the HR email chain. The judge read it, listened to her voicemail, and sighed like he'd heard this exact story 1,000 times. "Ma'am, you don't get to break up with someone and then demand access when you don't like the consequences." He granted a 1-year no-contact order, 300 feet from my home and workplace. No third-party contact. He looked right at her and said, "If you violate this, you'll be arrested." Do you understand? Marissa nodded, eyes wide, suddenly very quiet. Outside, her lawyer tried one last time. "She's having a hard time. Please be kind." I said, "I am being kind. I'm letting her move on without me." A month later, an unknown number texted, "Do you miss me?" I screenshotted it and sent it to the officer on my case. He called back and said they'd issue a warning for violating the order. That was it. The noise stopped. Since then, my life has been boring, and I mean that as a compliment. I got promoted at work. My house is quiet. Tessa and I are still dating slowly like adults. She texts me good morning and doesn't call it clingy. Imagine that. Lesson learned: when someone uses affection as currency, you'll spend your life trying to earn what should be freely given. They'll call you needy for wanting basic connection, then panic when you stop asking. The moment I took Marissa literally, her power disappeared. That's when my peace finally started. I even did a few therapy sessions just to recalibrate what normal should feel like in a relationship. If you've been called needy for wanting basic respect, tell me in the comments. Did I handle this right? Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it.